Man, so good to see you again. It's been a little while.
It's been a while, brother.
Man, all right, so you're bringing me to Street Vacation. I've actually never been here.
You're not going to be disappointed.
Oh.
So good.
Good. Very, very hungry. You're a big Thai fan?
I'm a big Thai fan, but this is
Another level.
next level.
Let's pick up right here, man. So, how you been?
I've been good, man. How about you?
Not too bad. It's been
a
a little,
while.
yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
COVID, we didn't really see each other. I saw you on Zoom a lot,
Yeah.
asking a lot of Dynamo players questions. A lot of Dynamo players and questions. But no one ever asks you the questions, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let's see, where do I start, man? I don't really know too much about you. I know a few things.
Yeah.
I know the cool things.
What?
You know what I mean?
Well, what would that be?
You podcast about the Dynamo.
True.
You're an opera singer.
Yeah.
And you're tall. And
That's about it?
yeah, that's about it. That's show's over. That's
Showed up one day. Hey, Dynamo.
That's it, yeah. No, but for real, let's go back. Let's talk the beginnings, your childhood, man. How was it?
It was good for the most part, Can't complain much. A few things here and there, Wasn't perfect either. But grew up in Buenos Aires in Argentina. Normal middle-class family. 3 sisters, younger. Careful. No, but they're good, and yeah, that was yours.
On me. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, well, you watch out.
And always football was my thing until I was, I would say 13, 14, 15 that I started picking up music more seriously. And
That late?
that late.
Good?
No.
Come on. What got you into the music? I mean, obviously football is everywhere. Right?
Yeah,
I gotta imagine. Right?
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
Argentina.
actually, so funny story. I lived here in the States from I was 13 till 16 or something like that. So
really?
during that time, that's when I was, I became a soccer star in Southern California.
The whole family came to the States?
Yeah,
Okay,
we came all together. And so, of course, what did I do as an Argentine? I looked for my place in life.
Yeah.
What can I do? Whatever. And soccer was that place, So I played better than most kids. So, varsity club, this, that, whatever, blah, blah. And then when I went back to Argentina, I was just another...
What year was that?
I can't remember the year, but I was
what took
15,
you back?
16. But my father's job kind of ended here in the States.
So that's what brought you here. That's what took you back.
Right. So I went back to Argentina. Soccer was not an option anymore because I sucked. All of a sudden, I was like, now everybody's great here.
Well, it's the competition.
Right. Everybody's good. So it's like, okay.
Well, U.S., Argentina.
So I said, okay, we gotta find a new thing to be good at now, and that was music, man. And I started playing the piano, playing the guitar. Dropped out of high school.
Yeah.
Studied
No joke.
the conservatory with my friends. And then one thing led to another, and I started becoming good at it, and that was that.
When did you know you were good at it? Like, when did it cross that threshold of like, to like, all right, let's do this?
It was basically a teacher in the conservatory. I was studying piano, and he heard me sing, and he was like, "Hey, you have a good voice. Let me teach you. Come to my chorus, and this and that." And I started going. I had never heard a chorus, people singing like with a lyrical technique before, and I saw that and I was like, what the fuck is this? Is amazing, and I wanted to do that all day. So I started studying more seriously, and one thing led to another. I got in a theater. From
was this
there,
instructor like specific to musical theater or
It was-
opera, or was it just general vocal?
He was like a choir director.
Oh,
Like
okay.
he specialized in voices, let's say that.
So then you got into theater, and then that leads you to, like, how did you get into theater, and then how did that
Yeah.
lead to more opera?
That was
theater.
Random too.
Yeah.
Because I just got in. I auditioned without any expectations.
Then
or
loved
anything.
it.
And I hated it the first week.
Word.
Yeah, hated it. Because we do a lot of theater, and for me, I just wanted to make music. I didn't care.
Yeah.
And the first day on the job, when I got hired to do that, it was like a theater class. And I was like, what is, I hate this, I don't want this.
I didn't come to act.
I just hated it. And then I fell in love with it. Like a week after that, I just lived in the theater all day. That's all I did.
Took a week.
I turned pages. I stayed for the ballet. I put the stands for the orchestra. I did lights. I mean,
started paying your dues.
I just did everything because I fell in love with it. And I lived 10 blocks away from the theater, so I practically lived in the theater all day. And
crash course education.
It's the best way to do it, you know. I mean, just do it. Just get in there and do it, and fail and do it, and fail and do it, and then one day you'll keep failing, but you'll whatever. Maybe you learn something.
But somebody pays you to fail at that point. That's what it is.
I like that.
What's the pathway from there to Houston? Is that a direct pathway, or are there more steps involved?
It was just a big. Many coincidences happened. I was in Argentina. Someone heard me sing. She said, "You have to come to Europe." She got me an audition in Europe. I went to Europe. I got the position. I studied in Europe for 3-4 years, in Spain in particular. And they, you know, I'm going to cut it short. So basically, I was working in a restaurant while I was studying. Playing some jazz and singing some opera and doing whatever. And one of these days, this couple that was sitting in the restaurant just like this, you know, they were like, "Hey, we love what you do. Why don't you come to our home and give us a concert for Christmas?" You know?
That can be dangerous. I'm
like,
okay.
You
trust them, you know?
I just did it. Well, funny thing, like 2 days later, their home was in Munich, in Germany, and I was living in Spain. So I'm like, this is weird, but fine, I'll go. You know, ended up being great people. We did the concert. And there I meet someone who was my first kind of contact with a manager, with an agent. And she says, "Let me send you to Belgium, to Germany, to do some, you know, some auditions, some things."
Things picked up quick.
Just like that. And there I met, in Germany, when I went to do some of these concerts, I met the technique teacher of Houston Grand Opera and Los Angeles Opera. And I loved what he taught, and I'm like, "I want to study with you." And he was like, "Well, too bad, I can't." So I went back to Madrid, and then they called me back here like 2 months
so you came and
that.
stalked him. I thought that he turns you down. I will hunt you down.
They called me, and I came here, and then I started the opera studio here in Houston, and then I stayed.
You stayed. You just stuck around. Loved it.
I loved it. It was tough at the beginning for me, but.
What did you like about Houston when you first moved here?
When I first moved here. Honestly, it was tough at the beginning, because it was very different, you know, especially from a European kind of perspective that I had at the time, you know, like walking to places and buying, you know, and all of that stuff. I still kind of miss it.
Well, but through the rough, though, was there a few things that you
were like, there were many things.
Okay,
to begin with, the theater itself, like to have like a world-class theater in the city, to me was very important, you know, and they bring some of the biggest stars in the industry, so that's huge. The Dynamo was also a thing because I wanted to get involved in the soccer world because that makes me feel just better, you know.
Just for context here, what year was that when you decided Houston was going to be where you kind of?
2015.
Oh, it's not super long ago.
No.
Yeah, you're right there.
Yeah.
You're still on that arc.
I am still learning my ways, and I still don't drive. I'm one of the 5 people in Houston that don't own a car or know how to drive.
Don't blame him for the traffic. It's not him.
Well, I'm the guy biking on the set, so maybe do blame me. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So outside of that, I mean, I guess there is a cultural shock, right? Like
absolutely.
Then so you're slowly starting to turn that, but you've over the last almost 8 years.
Yes.
You found things that make this feel like home, at least a little bit, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. What are some of those things? Is this spot one of those places? Not it's Thai food, not Argentinian, but like.
Well, but it doesn't matter because it's Houston. You know, like it's such a Houston thing. You know, people that. You know, when you ask someone, you know, what do you know about Houston, this and that, one of the first things is food, you know, and it's this, and food from anywhere. Yeah. So yeah, this place definitely is one of those places. I love it.
Yeah, so like, I mean, that's one of the things I was going to get into. You know, we talked a lot about identity, cultural identity. How would you define or describe Houston identity or culture, you know, from someone who's been here less than a decade specifically, but already, you know, and we'll get into some of the specifics that you and I mentioned earlier in the week. But yeah, just how would you describe that? How would you describe your time in Houston so far in the identity or definition of like what Houston culture is?
I mean, I think it's very proud It's a very proud culture, which I love, you know, because I like people that feel, you know, that have, you know, they have roots in the place where they live, and it's particularly special because they are roots that grow later in life, you know, like they're roots that you choose to grow in a way, and that's particularly touching, you know, I think, because, you know, it's easy to say, well, I'm from Buenos Aires and that's where I'm from and that's my place, and it's true, but then you choose, you know, where, you know, the people that you want to be, the places where you want to be at, and that's particularly special. And then of course the diversity. I mean, that's huge in Houston, and it's again, you know, we're like two guys eating in a Thai restaurant in the middle of Houston, you know, with people from everywhere around us. You know, it's special. There is something to say about that. You know, I think it's
absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of that, I'm hungry.
Let's order.
Let's order some food.